Am I the butthole for telling my sibs I sold our childhood home when I didn't, just to get them out? Okay, so I'm the youngest of 5 and this mess only revolves around me, female 29, my just older sis, 31, and our older brother, 36. 2 older sisters aren't part of this, thankfully. Okay, so I currently live with my girlfriend at what was my grandma's home. But I bought said home from mom a bit back for cheap. The house wasn't pristine and I've sunk a few thousand into it already and it's looking better. Well, my mom lived in our childhood home with sis and bro for the last forever. 2 oldest sisters live in diff states, younger sister and brother never moved out for longer than a year each before moving back. Both are absolute slobs who refuse to clean up after themselves. And they made our mom clean up after them. She couldn't stand mess and would clean just so she wouldn't have to live in filth. Eventually she, in her 60s, couldn't stand to live there anymore, so I asked her to come live with me. They essentially drove our mother out of her own home because they were slobs. Well, she lived with me happily. My house is clean and she didn't have to work and just enjoyed her time in the garden, but she passed away not too long ago. I've barely been coping because out of all of my siblings I was closest with our mom. Our personalities just meshed well. Whereas my siblings didn't. She loved them, she wouldn't have cared for them for so long if she didn't, but they stressed her out unbelievably. Well, I found out our mom left her house to me only. She left each of my sibs some money, but the house and everything of hers in it is now mine. My sibs who live in that house didn't like it and pitched a fit. Said I manipulated mom at her weakest into getting the house when they should have gotten it. I told them to go to hell, and the only reason it probably got left to me is because mom knew I'd at least remember to pay the property tax each year so the house wouldn't get taken. Neither of them pay any bills, save for their phone bills, so she probably doubted they'd keep the house long if she gave it to them. Well, they expected me to follow in mom's footsteps and pay all the bills there for them. I laughed and told them that going forward they'd be paying rent and all utilities if they wanted to stay there, and they'd need to keep the place clean or they were out. They flipped their crap and screamed that it was their childhood home and I couldn't do this. I said the deed is in my name, so I very much can. I sent them a letter that basically said they can either pay rent or they'd be out. They refused, so I sent them another letter saying they had 30 days to vacate the premises because I'd sold the house. They went ape crap, but they didn't have a leg to stand on, so they bailed. I've since cleaned up the place. It looked like a drug den and cost a lot to deep clean and fix stuff, and am renting it out to a nice Asian couple who have lots of exotic fish. Told some friends I lied about selling the house and they said it was a butthole move. Am I the butthole? Edit. To the people commenting why lie? Lying was pointless, where you were fine until you lied. Need to understand that I know my siblings well. And I know for a fact that a regular eviction wouldn't have worked since they'd know the house was still mine, so they'd have not left and just squatted indefinitely. But once they thought the house wasn't mine, they bailed, because they probably were worried the new homeowner would shoot them for trespassing. So lying was necessary in my opinion. Edit 2. I see a lot of confusion about the house situation, so to clear things up I bought the house that originally belonged to my grandma for my mom. The house said grandma left to my mom. I live in that one with my GF. But my mom left me her house that she bought herself when she was a young mom. That's the house I rent to the couple with the fish. There are 2 houses in this story. The one I live in, grandma's old home, and the one mom gave me, the one the couple with the fish are renting. I hope this clears things up. NTA big time. I'm glad your gamble worked out for you. Getting people out of a house can be a huge hassle. NTA. Your mom probably left you the property because she knew you would take care of it, not just pay the bills, especially after seeing you fix up your grandma's house. Also, I misread the line about the new renters. I really couldn't figure out why you knew that your renters had lots of exotic fetishes. Also, I misread the line about the new renters. I really couldn't figure out why you knew that your renters had lots of exotic fetishes with all those fish. They'd be crazy not to. Troy McClure has entered the chat. I thought you said Troy McClure was dead? No, what I said was he sleeps with the fishes. Oh, Fat Tony, please don't. I just ate a whole plate of dingamagool. I'll have a plate of the gabagool. If it's cold, I will send it back. If the salad is on top, I'll send it back. Leave the gun. Bring the cannabis. I am still saddened to hear it. R.I.P. dear Troy. You were a cartoon giant of a man. Hi, I'm Troy McClure and you read this in my voice. I did. I totally did, as well. Phil Hartman kicked ass. If someone has lots of exotic fish, they are bound to talk about it a lot. Ha ha. Who knows, they may have exotic fetishes too. Some people are quite open about stuff like this. My grandfather left his business to my father, his son-in-law, because he knew that neither of his actual sons would pay the taxes on it. They fought in court and my dad gave up the property because it wasn't worth the hassle, because it very much tore my family apart in the process, although for the better, and now the two sons have the property and one is in jail and the other is squatting there. There is no electricity because they don't pay the bill, they're running an illegal shop out of it, and I wouldn't be surprised if the state takes in the next couple of years for back taxes. It's a shame, and I'm glad Op's mom left it to her, and that her siblings ended up getting out, even if it was by deception. It might be a long shot, but your dad might be able to get the house back if he presents himself to the courts as Mr. Original Inheritor because the previous owner saw this coming. Nah, not worth it at this point. Maybe check to see if there's a lien on it for cheap? If it's not too destroyed, maybe he can quickly recoup any losses from buying it that way. It's been a while since I looked into real estate matters. Yeah, wait for basically a foreclosure sale and buy it for cheap. My feeling is pretty udu, boo about fetishes, but it's pretty hilarious the idea that the landlord would know about them. They wanted to make sure it was alright for them to install a swing in the bedroom. True that. You need some strong support beams. Don't just find the stud, or do. I think it was more the entire basement renovation in black and red theme. You want to run a 240-volt line to the shed? For latex injection molding? Oh, you make your own toys. Sure, just don't burn it down. And do you have a mold for echidna? Gift for a bachelorette party coming up. The theme is stuff I don't want to have to explain to my husband. Exactly. Or that it would be the thing they told everyone on Am I the Butthole about them. This is Jim, he likes reading murder mysteries and being walked on in heels by his mistress. Well, there are some your landlord might know about if you properly ask before building the stuff needed for the fetish. Clearly their landlord knowing their fetish is the fetish. How do you think she found the renters? This is the proper mindset. As long as it doesn't hurt someone or is non-consensual, don't yuck someone's yum is a good policy. I mean, exotic fetishes versus exotic fishes, both are going to get pretty expensive pretty quickly, so in this particular instance, I don't think the distinction is relevant. This is too. And when things go bad, they can go really bad, real quick. And the carpet is ruined. Also, I misread the line about the new renters. I really couldn't figure out why you knew that your renters had lots of exotic fetishes. Follow-up thread, am I the butthole for installing hidden cameras in the bedroom of my childhood home/rental property? Thank you for making me laugh on a crafty day. Maybe the fish are the fetishes. If I was a parent, I would leave everything I cared to someone who would care it the same way. Huge, not the butthole. You should see me playing The Sims. NTA, it sounds like you gave them the legally required notice to vacate, and with good reason. For all they know, the sale fell through at the last minute. Hey, it happens. Or the Asian family bought the house. My ma still talks about the time that a family bought her neighbor's house as they showed up with the asking price in cash and then offered $10,000 for all the furniture. Honestly, I'm not mad at that approach. If I keep it in cash, it's easier for me to keep tabs on ETA, aka it's easier for me to not spend it if I leave it in cash at home. Laughing out loud. You should not be keeping a house value's worth of cash in your house. Laughing out loud. You are absolutely right, and I am not denying that. Look, if I ever have to move again, I'm absolutely putting all the furniture up for sale and taking the bare minimum with me. Not worth the hassle of moving a household again. That's sort of what happened when we bought our house. The owner was older and moving into a nursing home. The family offered to clean the house out, but we told them if they knocked a few thousand off the price, we would handle it. We have gotten rid of most of the existing furniture, but we still have 6, Yes, 6 grandfather clocks. We kept one in the living room, the rest are in the basement and we don't know what to do with them. They'll probably be passed along to the next owners when we sell in a year or two. You just need to find 6 grandfathers to donate them to. Hey yo. Also, take the 405 until you get to the Slauson cutoff, where you'll get out of your car and cut off your Slauson. If they seem nice and old, just take them to an auction or list them on eBay. They could be worth something. Person shrugging, fair skin, female sign. They're nice, but I don't know how old they are. One was only partially assembled. I think the guy got kits and then assembled them himself. They could be worth some serious money. My grandpa had 2 and they were worth a bundle the last time they were valued. I think it was just under $5,000 each. If you do end up moving them, take the weights out first. And the pendulum. More grandfather clocks stop working due to a tiny piece of brass near the pendulum is snapped in half due to being moved improperly. Source: father-in-law fixes clocks, makes buku money on this one simple fix lol. Seems legit, yet also seems like clickbait even though there's no link. It took me a hot minute to figure out that buku was boku laughing out loud. Spend a bit fixing them up and sell them. If they're in good condition, you'll make a pretty penny. My sister did that too. The owner was moving in with her son, so she took her bed, dresser, and her son's toolbox from the shed and left everything else, including food, in the fridge and cupboards. My sister sold a lot of the tackier stuff, but she still has plenty, and we're still discovering tons of cool and less cool things stashed away around. Same, everything that doesn't fit in one drive is gone laughing out loud. I'm in the process of doing that exact thing. I'm not hauling all the stuff that can be replaced in a new city. I'm only taking my favorite decor and 2 small pieces of furniture and some clothes. That is how I bought my current house, as the sellers were retiring elsewhere, saved having to immediately shell out for furniture, and I slowly donated or sold what I didn't want/need as time went on. We did that with our house, but just wanted the carpets. Nice Turkish rugs over the tile. They threw in the carpets free because it was an outright sale. No mortgage. $10K for all the furniture? Did she have almost no furniture? My crap's cheap AF, and I can't imagine being able to replace it for that, especially dining and living room. It's the resale value, not the replacement value. Most furniture has very little resale value at all. See all the free stuff on Craigslist. I believe it was really nicely done up, and it was a bonus to be out that day. Op should put the house in a trust or LLC in any case. But it's family. Some people don't understand family dynamics and the fact that just because someone is your family, you don't have to do everything they want. People with good families often can't begin to comprehend what bad family means. They always think it's a rough patch you just have to work through or something. I do, however, recommend forming an LLC to own the house. If I do a public record search with a street address, it'll tell me who owns the house, and with further digging I can find out where you live. All of this is public record. If an LLC owns the house, then on public record it'll just say owned by Northeast Property Group, fake name. You can name it whatever you want. My family has done this in the past to protect themselves from spiteful tenants who get kicked to the curb. I'm not the owner, it's owned by Northeast Property Group. I didn't evict you, someone from Northeast Property Group did. I feel like, considering the siblings don't even pay bills, they won't go through the effort to do a public record search, laughing my butt off. That being said, not a bad idea just in case. You never know if exotic fish are trained as attack animals, better safe than sorry. You know, I have one simple request. And that is to have sharks with frickin' laser beams attached to their heads. Granted, but every shark in the ocean now has frickin' laser beams on their heads. Literally the plot of Leonard Part 6, one of the worst movies of all time starring Bill Cosby. I highly recommend you watch it. You'd be amazed how much effort petty people are capable of if they think they are entitled to something or think they have been wronged somehow. Honestly, all you have to do is Google the address, and these people seem like self-Googlers. But really it's too late now, because they'll see that it wasn't sold when original post said it was sold, no matter what happens next. As with many lies in this world, there's an expiration date after which the truth will out. so original posts shouldn't be asking whether it was an move but whether it will be worth it when they find out. Making a trust could cost a few bucks in legal fees and possibly a huge amount in property taxes if it's a reassessment event and inheritance isn't. In many cases, it just won't be worth it to prolong a lie that will inevitably be caught anyway. Petty people and a lawyer on contingency is a bad combination. Especially if original post has broken any laws, and lying about selling the house might violate landlord/tenant laws. Wow, great idea. His sibs probably aren't that smart, but one day someone could point that out to them. Given that it didn't occur to them that it was odd that the house was sold with no one ever doing so much as a walkthrough or having an inspection or any of the normal house buying stuff, I'd guess they wouldn't think of looking up records. I do agree on the LLC. I don't think it matters about the siblings. They know where Original Post lives anyway, it's their grandma's old home. And Original Post gave them a 30-day notice to vacate, which is usually what's legally required. An LLC can help with future tenants of the home though. The lie about it being sold was just to cut through the bullcrap whining of the siblings. It doesn't matter that it wasn't true. LLCs, at least in my state, are public records as well, and anybody can look up the owner of any LLC. It's still smarter than keeping it directly in OP's name, but not foolproof. It'll take a bit more digging. I don't know if it's true everywhere, but I'm pretty sure in my state, LLCs need only have a registered agent on file, who is the person, or other entity. Courts can serve process too. Unless it's publicly traded, ownership is not public information. I looked up my LLC and it only lists me as a registered agent and principal office. There's no other information about me on there. I really don't think she needs to go through all the trouble. They're unlikely to do that search, and, even if they do, she can just say the sale fell through if asked. And that's assuming she's kinder than I am and won't just tell them to F off. Thank you for watching. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube. And share them with your friends. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. We welcome your comments below. Another of our videos will begin shortly.